Well, it's 2 minutes past. I think we're gonna get started. The webinar is going to be recorded. If someone joins later, they'll be able to watch. Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you very much for joining us for this first webinar of a series of webinars we're gonna do here from SEK-Riyadh. Let me introduce myself. I'm Ivan Martinez, SEK-Riyadh's principal. And this first webinar, we're going to explore how education and global citizenship are and can be linked, and how SEK, the education group, and 10 different schools, how do we approach global citizenship in our schools, and how we manage to include this key dimension into our schools and into our students' learning. I'm very happy to have today as a guest speaker for this webinar my colleague Jen Pro. Jennifer is currently the head of school at SEK International School Santa Isabel. She's a very well qualified and experienced international educator and leader with 15 years of experience. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Jen, but her career has taken her to 3 different continents, and she's been holding senior leadership positions in different international schools. And also, and that's why she's an expert in global citizenship, in global nonprofits. So a social entrepreneur herself, Jen is a passionate advocate for global citizenship, I'd say, worried about diversity, inclusion, promoting social innovation and student empowerment in the schools she leads. And she leads by example, and all of the principals and heads of school at other SEK schools, we follow her lead. So I'm very happy to introduce Jennifer Pro. I'll remind you before we leave today of the next webinars, and before Jen starts with her presentation and sharing about global citizenship, just remember that if you have any questions or doubts throughout the webinar, you can write in the chat, and I'll be able to read them and share them with Jen later. Without further ado, Jen, welcome, and thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you so much, Ivan. What a lovely introduction. It's great to see you, and it's really great to be here with everyone. I am going to share my presentation. Let's see if I can get it corrected. Yes. Okay, ahora. Now I've got it. All right. Well, thank you everyone for attending. Thank you, Ivan, for inviting me. It's really a pleasure to be invited to the first, to be involved in the first webinar. I am going to start with probably some information that you may already know, but just as a reminder that at the SEK institution, we're a global community of educational institutions. We have the university, and we have 10 schools all across the world. And Riyadh is one of those, one of the members of that large global community. So, I'm here in Madrid right now. You're in Riyadh, but really we're connected, as we know. The world is each day more and more connected, and especially with all the new technologies and the advances, it makes it even easier for us to connect. Our schools, we use what's called our learning methods. Our learning methodology is based on the future learning model, and one of the aspects of the future learning model is global agency. Global citizenship. our future learning model is a methodology that we developed as an incubator. We had a think tank with all teachers and students, and we thought about where do we want to go with our learning, especially with the pandemic happening, but not only as a response to the pandemic, also where is the future of learning going? And one of the aspects that came up was global citizenship. Global citizenship at SEK, we've always, it's always been included in our program, in our curriculum, but it was at this point where we really put a focus and the importance of it. We are also a B certified school, which means that it's an accreditation, meaning that we are socially committed to good practices for the planet and for the planet's citizens. As you know as well, we are IB certified schools, and what's fascinating, and we all know a little bit about the IB methodology. It's a true international methodology where students are really put in the center of their learning. They are agents in their own learning, where they get to choose their motivations, bring in their interests, and really guide where they want to go with their learning, and are part of the reflection process. It's based on inquiry and building competencies, and it's also very academically rigorous. And what makes it truly international is that you can be studying in Riyadh for a few years, and you can move to Spain, and you can still use the same methodology and the same type of curriculum, and it'll still be very relevant. What's something that's fascinating is the mission of the IB. I have it up here. This is the objective of what the IB is, to develop inquiring, knowledgeable, and caring young people who help to create a better and more peaceful world through education that builds intercultural understanding and respect. So you can see here that it's not, of course, the academics are very rigorous, but it's not, that goal isn't based only on academics. I mean, we're talking here about caring young people, creating a better world, a peaceful world, intercultural understanding and respect. So you can see how the global citizenship fits so well with the IB program. We also have what's called a SEK profile. As we know, the students are going to be facing so many challenges. Our sons and daughters, when they graduate from primary, secondary, high school, university, I mean, we don't even know the types of jobs that they're going to have and the challenges that they're going to face in the planet and in this fast-paced changing world. So of course, these students not only need to learn the skills of mathematics, science, history, but they need competencies. They need the communication skills, leadership skills, critical thinking, inquiry. They need to be culturally engaged, to have a sense of personal accomplishments, and of course, digital competencies. So all of these competencies that we work to develop in our students, we try to nurture an environment and a learning environment which nurtures the development of all these skills. And of course, global citizenship is an element in the SEK profile. Global citizenship, social innovation, and community action. Our goal in what is our global citizenship program is, one moment, it's not letting me pass, there we go. It wasn't letting me pass to the next slide. Our goal as schools is to develop a unique, coherent, and progressive social innovation and global citizenship program in all the SEK schools that will make student learning more meaningful and authentic and help create a more equitable, peaceful world. So, of course, at all of the SEK schools, we value diverse opinions, diverse cultures and beliefs, and that's why it's our goal for students to graduate as global leaders, with the ability to take action and support diversity and in social justice. And students learn all of these skills through various global citizenship and social innovative initiatives, where they have the opportunities to apply the knowledge of what it means to be tolerant, empathetic, and caring in authentic situations, and that also challenge their abilities to understand others, to see other perspectives, and to find solutions to complex problems. So through these experiences, the idea is that the students respond to situations that are local and close to them, but also global issues such as global inequality, plastic in our oceans, and climate change. We have as a reference, as a tool, our the UN, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which are a set of 17 goals that, well, students, companies, institutions, schools all around the world are working towards to make the world a better place. So you can see the diversity here where we talk about poverty, hunger, inequality, sustainability, peace and justice. So part of our this base helps also the students to structure the different actions that they're taking and see how it's connected to a bigger platform where you have students, schools, and the rest of the world working towards the same goals, which is very empowering and motivating for students. Of course, it brings, you know, everything, all of our learning, we bring into a real world context, and when we look at these sustainable development goals, they're really based on specific goals that you have so many different countries working towards. Now, to continue to talk about why are we implementing global citizenship. Towards the end, I'm also going to give you some examples of how we're implementing it. But there's some key elements to our program. For instance, diversity. Of course, we must create citizens. We must nurture citizens who understand that diversity is a reality in the world that we live in. We've got different races, different cultures, different traditions, different religions, and that the more knowledge that they have about diversity and about all of the differences, the more capacity for understanding and tolerance our students are going to have, and they will be able to develop the skills to empathize and to empathize and to respect others. Okay, and of course, you know, the idea of global citizenship has very ancient roots, but its current construction is something that's really been, you know, creation of the United Nations in 1945 and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948. There's also been other important benchmarks, the adoption of the Sustainable Development Goals, which I mentioned, and the Paris Agreement on climate change. They have all played a very important role in global citizenship. And it's precisely a period now where learning, tragedies, progress, and the idea of institutions that are appealing to, you know, universal dignity of human beings have been maturing. And today we understand it as a type of citizenship. We understand global citizenship as a type of citizenship that transcends the space of a nation, and it's removed from any specific identity or territorial space, and it embraces a global global ethnicity in constant development in its citizenship. There's so many specific goals, specific competencies and skills that students learn when they look into global citizenship. They are, if you look at intercultural, for instance, intercultural skills, and those skills include the ability to interact successfully with people of different cultural identities and different backgrounds. It encompasses interpersonal skills in ways that it helps our students when they graduate to govern to face different people from different cultures that have different opinions. Also interpersonal skills, and how to work productively in cross-cultural teams, lead effectively, including teams that are distributed just like today in different countries throughout the world, with the use of telecommunication technologies. It includes skills to demonstrate courtesy, empathy towards people from different backgrounds, and helps also students to have the skills to resolve culturally based disagreements through negotiation, through mediation, through conflict resolution. Interpersonal skills also include curiosity for global issues and world cultures. It includes, wanting to know about other countries and other traditions. Okay, so you can see all of the important skills that we want students to learn through this program. Of course, historical knowledge is also very important. It's important for students to also learn the background, that they learn the history of cultures, religion, geography, world history, and geography with an attention to the role in global citizenship and in cultural changes, and in studies of the different religions. It's very powerful for students to learn about the different religions and how similar we are to each other, and as well as understanding world geography, the different areas of the world, how we're all united, and how humans have changed the geography throughout the planet. We also talk about ethics and values, and the appreciation of a framework that's based on how we want to treat each other. We aren't, we could be the best, we could be the smartest, the most athletic, the most successful, but if we're not good people, it wouldn't be a success. We have to promote and nurture our students to help them become good persons with a heart, and students who want to help each other, students that are kind to each other, and students that are committed to equality, that they're committed to justice, and they're committed to being generous and tolerant and caring towards others. And this also includes the appreciation of people from all different classes, and how we support those social groups that need help, or different groups that in different circumstances have different needs. Of course, we also work with the students to build work and mind habits, so that they're able to demonstrate innovation and creativity, and that they can contribute to formulating solutions to global challenges. So we are faced with so many challenges, and our students, our sons and daughters, are going to be faced with so many challenges in the future. So we want to work with them so that they know how to create to create solutions to these challenges, and they seize global opportunities, and they seek and identify global best practices and ways to solve problems in completely new ways that we haven't seen before. Social innovation is something that is also linked to entrepreneurship. You probably heard more about entrepreneurship, and social innovation is similar to entrepreneurship, but with the goal of helping or supporting or caring for our planet, or the people in our planet. And it's important, the interaction and the interconnection of societies, because we know that there's impact and that we all impact each other. And it's necessary to find the solutions and the responses, and to ensure that we're addressing the new scenarios that are evolving, and that we're nurturing an environment, and we're giving students the skills to produce behavioral changes that are necessary to solve the great challenges of society. We're empowering citizens and generating new social relationships and new ways of collaboration. And then at the same time, the students are being innovative for themselves, and they're useful for society. Our goal, we all have to be, all the students in all the schools that are involved in this project. The idea is that our aim, we're all going towards the same direction, and that's to create a better world. And it translates into a series of achievements and examples that I'm going to share with you. Of course, all of this, these projects that I'm going to show you, it is based on a great deal of work from our educators. We must make sure that we give our teachers time to work together, collaborative planning, because all of these projects are interdisciplinary. We can't have one teacher just working on their own, because they're related to all of the subjects, and they go beyond all of the regular subjects, and the teachers embed it also into the curriculum, so that what the students learn inside the classroom is related to all of these projects. And oftentimes what they learn in the classroom, these actions that the students then choose to carry out, are a result of what the students are learning in the classroom. And as a goal, we seek to impact learning in a way that students think globally in order to act locally. So although we're talking about global citizenship, the students are, oftentimes, and we support that they look first at their closest environment and in their local community. Okay. Of course, we're talking here about learning by doing. We all know that part of the International Baccalaureate, that the IB is an active methodology at SEK. We have always promoted dynamic ways of learning and learning by doing. So these are all examples, fantastic examples of how students are, getting out in the community, getting their hands dirty, and learning with real learning experiences. Okay, I'm going to show you one example. The first example is what we call the Brain Foods Project. So as I mentioned before, with the IB, the IB really promotes agency. Also, our future learning model, our SEK future learning model, which I mentioned in the beginning, agency is also one of those big elements and a big theme for our schools. And this project in particular was a project that the students, it is a complete student-led project. The students started in primary, in 5th grade. They started to research on what types of foods were good for their learning, what types of foods affected their brain. They did some research, and they really liked it, and they asked the teachers for support. We ended up collaborating with our university, with the expert education consultant Stephen Heppel. We asked all of them for help to build this project, and the students started to survey other students, to investigate, to research, and they did a research project to see how certain foods affected the learning of their classmates. They even started to make recipes with the foods that they found that affected their brain. They called them brain foods. That's why the project is called Brain Foods, because these are the foods that affect our brain in a positive way. And they made a YouTube channel, and I'm gonna go ahead. We're very proud of the how well they have learned to speak in public, their communication skills, their digital skills. Not only everything that they learned scientifically on how to research, how to write. They even came up with a recipe book when they wrote the recipes. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the video. Tell me, Ivan, please, if you cannot hear it.
Hi guys, my name is Maria and welcome back to the Brain Food channel. Today, as you saw from the title, I'll be telling you about strawberries. Strawberries are really good for you, but why? Well, it's because they have a lot of vitamin C, potassium, and folate. Not only this, but they're very rich in antioxidants and plant compounds. Oh, and if you're wondering what antioxidants are, well, they're a substance that destroys free radicals and therefore protect your healthy cells. Plant compounds and antioxidants benefit your heart health and blood sugar control. Now, here are some fun facts about strawberries that I'm sure you didn't know before. For example, did you know that the strawberry has 2,000 seeds in it? Or that the strawberry is the first fruit to grow in spring? Also, that there's a dedicated museum about strawberries in Belgium? Okay, now that we're done with fun facts, I'm going to tell you a bit more about strawberries. They have a lot of health benefits in them, but people just eat them because they like them, not because they have all these vitamins and folate in them. And plus, strawberries, you can eat them with all sorts of compliments. They're really yummy.
Okay, I just wanted to give you a little sneak peek at it. The students also, I mean, you can see their communication skills. It's just unbelievable. And of course, all of the knowledge that they learned about health and nutrition, and of course, the digital competencies that are involved in creating these videos. And then, of course, what comes before all of this work, right? Because the students created a club and they then develop leadership skills. They have to also develop time management because this club, the Brain Food Project Club, they worked not always inside their regular class time. They had to find time to create all of this, all of these products. And of course, they learned photography, video production, and also, if you look at it's a group work. It's a group, so they also, you know, I love listening to them when they talk about, you know, some of the conflicts that they have. So they really learn conflict resolution because, of course, you know, you've got, you know, 5, 6, 7 different opinions, and everyone wants to do it a different way, and you have to find a way to mediate and resolve the problem, which are skills that are so important at this age. And of course, they're learning critical thinking skills, creative skills. Creative thinking skills. And what we've also done, so these students also really became leaders and mentors, and we were able to have some of the older students from secondary, from the MYP, from 7th and 8th grade, and then first year of high school, come and work with our primary students. And they did workshops and explain what the brain foods was to the kids. And what was really amazing about it is when we were helping them develop the workshop, the first thing that the students said, the brain foods members, they said, well, if we're going to tell them about brain foods, we have to do a workshop. We have to show them. They have to be active. We can't just go and give them a presentation. Okay, so it's interesting to see how they see the value in dynamic and hands-on learning, and it's very valuable for younger students to learn from older students, and also for the older students to be mentoring the younger ones. I'm also going to show you a video of learning in the local context and having experiences in a local context. So the idea is to think globally but act locally. Here is this brain. The Brain Foods project we're working on in across some different schools at the moment in Madrid, and this is a video that we made at SEK Santa Isabel. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on for you.
Here we are at an urban garden just 5 minutes from our school. As you know, our school, SEK Santa Isabel, our learning goes well beyond the 4 walls of our classrooms, and we go out to all the neighboring associations, institutions, so that our students can have authentic and memorable learning experiences in a real world context.
Nuestra unidad de indagación en tercero de infantil es Cuidamos el entorno, por lo que nos pareció buena idea traerlos a un huerto urbano que hay cerquita del cole y aprovechar los espacios verdes que la ciudad nos ofrece, que a veces es más difícil de encontrar.
Estamos investigando el entorno. Vamos a plantar semillas para cuidar el medio ambiente. Que no hay que echarle productos químicos.
The important thing that we considered when starting this project is that the community is absolutely essential for our students. They most live in walking distance. Even one of the places we visit is a school family member, and the connection to local community is important, but also in the cultural connections of the city. So these are our next steps.
Okay, so I think that's another good example of, you know, how we work with the kids to make those connections to the local community, taking care of the environment at the urban garden. I'm going to go ahead and show you some other examples from the schools. We've got some photos here. This is a project called Stewards of the Planet, and through the concept of responsibility, here students were working on global and local and global issues through a series of stop animation ads. And the students chose the issues, the students chose what they wanted to work on, and many of them addressed the rise in poverty due to the pandemic. Others focused on environmental issues such as littering, pollution, plastic. Okay, we also, this is one of our other schools in Madrid. This was a collaboration between all of the early years teachers, and they actually created characters, and all of the characters, they were, this was to help the students in the early years to learn how to care for our environment. So we had Huggy, Buzzy, Mopsy, Greenie, and Washy, and they created different stories with these characters, and we even had the surprise, and we brought the characters to life, and the characters we even created a musical with them based on the global sustainable goals. We also have, in the context of what we're calling passion projects, what we call passion projects, which is a module in the class where students are able to choose what they would want to work on. And once they decide, we give them the tools that they need. And what we found was that students all were choosing projects that had to do with improving the environment or helping someone, or it was all based on having an impact. So you see here we have some students who chose, they're putting posters up all over the city about, you know, they walked around the neighborhood and saw some things in the city that they didn't like. Maybe if there was some garbage, or the garbage cans weren't low enough for the students, so they put up different posters around the city, raising awareness and calling for citizens to make these changes. We've also had, you know, other service and action projects. We have the students work with a day center with the elderly, and you can see how the students go and they work with them. They do different games, they do different activities, and it really makes an impact on the elders in our community. And you even see them connected online during the pandemic when we could not go and visit the day centers. And here, the students even work. They teach the residents about the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, and about the 3 R's: the reuse, reduce, and recycle. We also take part in projects in community projects in My Freedom Day. This is an example of My Freedom Day campaign. So you can see those 3 photos with the students, the hashtag My Freedom Day. This is a student-led worldwide movement where students all over all over the globe make that sign. It's a hashtag My Freedom Day, and they say in a video what freedom means to them. And it's a day to raise awareness and to help the fight against child slavery. Also to mention a few, well, we collaborate with so many NGOs. So how do we collaborate with them? Many times we do campaigns to raise money, but we also we take actions with these NGOs. We volunteer and we get involved. We always like to get our hands dirty. These are just some of the NGOs that we work with, and here are a few more. And to finish off, I guess I would just like to say that global citizenship and social innovation, they are, you know, a key element to our curriculum, and they're present through all stages of our education and at all levels and in all academic areas. It is what gives real meaning to the curriculum and allows students to apply their learning in real world context. And you know, they see the kids here because once we got this project started, it really took off. So I hope that this presentation helped give you an understanding of what global citizenship is at SEK, why we implement it, and some examples, you know, how we implement it and why it's so beneficial for your sons and daughters. So please tell me, I'm available if you have any questions. And I guess to sum up, one of our quotes that we say often here at SEK is that we don't prepare the best students on the planet, but the best students for the planet. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Jen, for the presentation. We're gonna give a couple of minutes. If you want to ask any questions, you can type them on the chat, or you can just raise your hand and I'll try to give you the opportunity to ask the questions directly. Meanwhile, or to close, if you don't have any questions, I just wanted to highlight some of the things Jen shared. I think a great example of students taking action is at the end of the PYP with the final exhibition that happens in grade 5.
Yeah.
As I mentioned earlier before, we will have another upcoming webinar on what is an IB education, specifically on the PYP program. But at the end of the PYP, year 5, we're preparing our students all the way up to be ready for the MYP, for the middle years program. But they culminate their primary years program with a final exhibition that's based on a project they've been working on through the whole last year of their primary year program studies, no? And it's usually linked to the social development goals. It's usually linked to the students' interest, and perhaps the Brain Food project. That's this nice project Jen shared with us, born in one of these final exhibitions in grade 5. So thank you for sharing that great example, Jen. Also, I wanted to mention, you mentioned intercultural skills, and we do know about it at SEK-Riyadh, as we have a lot of international students who are living, growing, sharing with Saudi students. So they have this time and space to collaborate, to coexist in the end, to share ideas and to learn together, which I think is a great opportunity for them to live since they're 3 years old in this intercultural environment. That's a great opportunity. And last, thank you for mentioning, Jen, Passion Pursuits. I had the opportunity to visit Jen and all of the team at SEK Santa Isabel, and no doubt we'll be implementing Passion Pursuits from next year at SEK-Riyadh as well, and we'll follow the lead. And I'm quite sure we do have a lot of students with tons of ideas and concerns, and I'm quite sure they'll be able to come up with very good projects and ideas to help our planet and our environment and to keep on learning. That's the final goal. I don't see any questions on the chat nor people raising their hands, so I think we probably must leave it here. Please stay tuned. As I mentioned, this is the first in a series of webinars. So in a couple of weeks, you'll see that we will have another webinar on what is an IB education and the PYP. That'll be very helpful for our families at SEK-Riyadh and the families watching the recorded webinar afterwards. So if nobody would like to ask questions, we're gonna leave it here. Jen, it's been a pleasure having you. Thank you very much again for sharing all of your knowledge and experience, and hope you can visit us soon enough.
Thank you. Oh, I can't wait to come. And to all the families that are going through Ramadan, happy Ramadan month, and I hope that it isn't too difficult. We'll get through it soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Ramadan Kareem to everyone.
Ramadan Kareem. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Jen, and thank you everyone who attended this webinar. If you're watching the recording, thank you very much as well. Stay tuned for next webinars. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Ivan. Bye-bye. It was great to see everyone.